Core Relational Values for Disclosure and Apology Conversations by David Browning, in collaboration with the Institute for Professionalism and Ethical Practice.
My name is David Browning. I'm a co-founder of the Institute for Professionalism and Ethical Practice at Boston Children's Hospital. The most important reason we need to do a better job of responding to patients, families, and clinicians after medical errors and adverse events is because, as Lucian Leape has said, it's the right thing to do. Paying attention to the core values that inform disclosure and apology conversations is essential for building and rebuilding relationships and trust, especially after medical errors or adverse events. What are those core relational values that form the foundation for these conversations? We have developed the acronym TRACK to describe 5 core values: transparency, respect, accountability, continuity, and kindness. Here, I am going to focus on how we can enact these values in conversations with patients and families after medical errors and adverse events, though it's important to keep in mind that these same values are applicable to the clinicians involved. Let's think about how we, as healthcare professionals, can translate each of these 5 core values into action, and what might be the experience for patients and families when we do so successfully. To enact transparency, we need to strive to be open, frank, and clear, so that patients and families can receive timely access to the information and input they need. To show respect, we strive to show esteem for the intrinsic worth and value of the patient and family, so that they will feel valued as human beings by the staff providing care for them. To be accountable, we strive to be answerable for our decisions and actions, so that patients and families can see that the right people take responsibility for their decisions and actions. To provide continuity, we strive to ensure that our actions are connected and coordinated over time, so that patients and families can receive care that makes sense and fits together. Lastly, to convey kindness, we strive to be caring, considerate, and compassionate, so that patients and families feel they are treated with warmth, empathy, and compassion. A few additional points. First, after a medical error or adverse event, patients and families need clinicians not only to connect with them on a cognitive level, helping them to make sense of what has happened, but also on an emotional level, helping them as they absorb the impact of the event. Clinicians often find it difficult to ask patients and families questions about their emotional state. How are you doing with this? Perhaps the difficulty with these kinds of questions is connected to not wanting to hear the answers, which may convey fear, sadness, and anger, including anger at the clinician or healthcare team. But it is vital that we do connect with patients and families on this emotional level for the sake of their healing and for ours. When we do connect on this emotional level, we're showing kindness, which is a kind of compassion in action. The word compassion means literally to suffer with. Though we can never fully understand what another person is going through, we can connect to that person on a human level from the place in ourselves that has known suffering in our own lives. Second, to be successful, these conversations must be collaborative. They need to be two-way. They need to go back and forth. The idea of collaboration is actually built into conversation. The word conversation comes from the Latin conversare, which means to keep company, dwell in a place, or live with. In our conversations with patients and families, we want clinicians to dwell with patients and families, to live with them through the experience of medical errors and their aftermath. One concrete tool for keeping conversations collaborative is the ask, tell, ask method. This approach involves asking patients and families what they understand about the situation, telling them additional specific information in a comprehensible way, and then asking how they understand and feel about the information we shared. Lastly, a word about apology. One of the problems we have is that in the English language, we say "I'm sorry" to mean several different things. In disclosure and apology conversations, it is critical to understand how we may choose to use these words. It is always appropriate to say "I'm sorry" as an expression of caring and compassion in relation to what patients and families are experiencing. This may take the form of, "I'm sorry you're having to go through this," or "I'm so sorry this has happened." This expression of caring and empathy is different from using the words "I'm sorry" to take responsibility for the error or adverse event. We reserve the use of the term apology to apply to this second kind of "I'm sorry." This "I'm sorry" should be made when the facts are clear and a clinician or institution needs to communicate clear accountability for harm that has been caused. This "I'm sorry," this apology, takes the form of "I am so sorry, we made a mistake, we are responsible," or "I want to apologize to you, I made a serious error, I am responsible." Above all, in the context of everything that happens in the aftermath of a medical error or adverse event, these core relational values should enable us to focus on one overarching rule: the needs of patients and families come first.
Reflective exercise. Please post your responses on the comments board for this video so that others may learn from them.